Hey there, it's Jody Sutter of the Sutter Company, and it's Just Ask Jody. It's that time when I take a question from an agency around an issue they're having with business development, and I'll answer that question in 4 minutes or less. And today, the question, which is a little long, so I'm going to read it. The question is this: how do we write a case study for a client we've worked with for a long time versus a case study for a single campaign? Really, what the question is getting at is they're describing a situation where they've worked with this client over multiple years, and there are a lot has gone on over those years. So it's very different from describing that single campaign case study, where the format that we're all used to is really applicable, right? You start out with that client challenge, you do your research, you develop the insight, you form a big idea, you present that big idea to the client. The client says, yes, let's go to market with it. You prepare that big idea as a go-to-market campaign, and hopefully you have a lot of really great success and a lot of positive results. But things get a bit tricky when you're talking about a situation or talking about a relationship that you've had over time. Maybe you've been working on the same brand, but that brand has probably evolved. In fact, you've probably played a big role in helping to evolve the brand. Maybe you are working with multiple brands within that one client. So there are lots of different stories. When you're describing a longer term relationship like this, it's very important to make some critical decisions about the story that you want to tell. One of the ways you can do that is to decide on the most important theme for that story, for that case study. And I'm going to assume that depending on the audience that you're talking to, that theme is going to change a little bit. So you always want to think about your audience, and you always want to have an objective in mind. What are you trying to achieve here with this case study? So this long-term case study may tell a positive story about how you evolve a brand over time. It may be a way you want to illustrate how you skillfully manage client relationships. There are lots that go into this bigger story, right? So that's where it becomes very important to make these critical decisions. Decide on the theme, decide on your objective, and then make critical decisions about what you're going to include in that case study. Now, the one thing that you do want to do, similar to that single campaign case study, is you want to make sure that you do make it a narrative, that you include this narrative arc that takes them through this journey. We started here, we ended up there. What you don't want to do is you don't want to try to fit it all in. And I see this occasionally when you have, limited time and space in order to tell the story, but you still want to fit it all in. And what happens is that it comes across more like reading chapter headings than reading a full story. So remember, you can tell a full story in few words, but like I said, you have to really decide what the theme is, what that narrative arc is, and the most important thing is your objective, what the key message that you want to get across to that client. That's it for this Just Ask Jody. If you have a question you would like me to answer on another Just Ask Jody in the future, you can email me at jody@thesuttercompany.com. See you next time.